Welcome back to the second day of the DreamHack Warcraft 3 Championship, where things are getting really serious because this is the decided match. And just like in Group A and Group B, it's a rematch. I am joined by Neo and Carson. I'm pretty hyped for this one. Hopefully HawK was able to tank some confidence. Neo, you think he can carry on that momentum?
Yeah, Roddy, I can finally see you again. The salt
I was just thinking the same.
The salt mountain between us was removed. Yeah, it's time to lift the curse, I guess. All the numbers, all the statistics speak against HawK here, but maybe he is picking up that momentum as the two guys yesterday, coming from a defeat in the winner bracket, but now picking up pace. Got that very important third map. LawLiet has to bring the same A-game as he did in the winner bracket semi-final, then he has a very solid chance.
I'm so funny that you say that, actually, because I was just thinking the same thing. I was like, why was ToD standing in the middle? I was literally looking at his shoulder while I was looking at you. Anyway, we got that sorted out. We've got Carson with us as well. I mean, you casted that Night of vs. Human earlier, right?
Yeah.
We've had a lot of close series so far in this tournament. That wasn't one of them.
Definitely wasn't one of them. That was the most one-sided series we've had in the entire tournament. So hopefully it's a little bit different this time. Hopefully I think the map vetoes might come into play. ToD kept mentioning again and again, Last Refuge, you cannot play that map, and we saw exactly why he thought that, so maybe some changes could be made, but LawLiet did look pretty good, especially against Moon as well.
Alright, first up, we want to hear from you guys at home. If you guys think that the rematch is going to be a little bit different. Hashtag Law, if you think LawLiet is just going to take care of business once more, or hashtag HawK, like we did it earlier. If you believe in the power of the Braton that is HawK, Neo, what would you like to see different from HawK?
I think just a cleaner game. I'm also agreeing with ToD that Last Refuge might not be the best map for him. The Beastmaster play by all the Night Elves is just so strong, it's so oppressive. You can't get the Echo up, you can't get the army up, you can't get to that 70 supply death ball. Yeah. So I'm, for the first time, really curious what the map picks and bans are.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll get to that soon. Obviously, we've got the head-to-head graphic to take a look at first as well, so they'll bring that up whenever it's ready, and it's already ready. I mean, this one hasn't changed a whole lot from before, so I'm just gonna ask you guys something a little different. I mean, sure, that bear, the Beastmaster, was insane. Like 9 minutes in, it was level 5, 1200 HP bear, blinking around like it's an actual hero, killing a Mountain King, killing Footmans. That's cool, but it wasn't just the Beastmaster, because in game 2 we had the Keeper, and that Keeper also went to town, killed like 6 peasants when HawK tried to expand. I mean, we're gonna have to clean that part up too, right, Carson?
For sure, yeah, and I think there's still some more options for LawLiet too, which is pretty terrifying because he is maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, the best Warden player in the world currently. He may very well be. He's one of the best creepers in the world too, so he's got more options, so HawK has to be ready for the whole bag of tricks as well as that Beastmaster and that Keeper.
Now, when I'm sitting backstage though, I'm obviously listening to the conversations that the pros have with each other and ToD as well, and every single time that ToD is talking to LawLiet, he basically says, Human is imba, Human overpowered, oh, I don't want to play against Human. He also said that he prefers playing Insufferable over HawK because Human is imba. Is he just memeing Neo, or is there actually a little bit of truth to that?
He was a little frustrated for a long time, and I think he carries this over into a new meta a little bit. It is not very unreasonable, but a little bit unreasonable. And we all know that he's a freaking beast in this matchup, so yeah. He's not the one to complain really in this matchup.
Alright, well, before we're going to take a look at the map vetoes, we're going to do our predictions over here on the desk. I guess I'll just repeat my prediction from earlier today, where I said I think LawLiet takes it, but 2-2-1. Carson?
I think I agree with that. I think HawK's going to make some adjustments, and we're not going to have that clean sweep this time. 2-1 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ruined my perfect profit track record with the outside pick of Insup. I'm going 2-1 LawLiet as well.
I picked 2-1 HawK there, by the way. I don't want to brag, Neo, but I think I'm starting to one-up you over here as the actual prophet.
You know, I do it for the show. The real results are in my head and I get them all right. You know how it is.
Alright. Obviously, I mean, like, memes aside, we're having a good time here. We're enjoying the action, but this is a really big series for both of these guys. I mean, LawLiet has been one of the top performers in the overall Warcraft 3 scene, but there is still that crowning achievement that's kind of missing. And if he would have an absolute massive run here, I mean, that'd be the biggest accomplishment of his career too, right?
Yeah, he was just last week in the final of Next, and that was already a good run. That is a Tier 1 tournament from China. But once again, he failed in the final, as he was at WCA. His pressure is, or he sees himself, I want to be the champion. And this might be the very last shot, especially at an offline tournament. So I hope he doesn't crumble, man. That is a lot of pressure he puts on himself.
I mean, to be fair, he did look pretty good against Moon. That first game between LawLiet and Moon, one of the highlights of the tournament so far. And I think even the final game, I mean, he had a very tough draw, Warden against Demon Hunter, but he absolutely made Moon work for it. You said you were genuinely curious about the map vetoes. Well, there you have it. First veto right off the bat. We are getting rid of Last Refuge.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's exactly what he had to do. He's going to make adjustments. He's probably going to have to play a Warden now because of the way the vetoes are going. Okay, Echo Isles.
We're going to see Shallow Graves, guys.
Oh, the first time.
Well, if we get there. It's not the first map. Is it going to be the second map or will it be the decider? Okay, it would be the decider. So we needed 3-game series to finally see Shallow Graves here. But are you guys happy to see this, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Some different maps I think is great for the side of HawK, and the potential to see Shallow Grave for the first time, the potential to see maybe some Warden again would be quite nice, because that's always the most exciting way to play this matchup, I feel like.
And guys, if I once again may remind you that in the War 3 Champions Finals they played on Autumn Leaves and it was LawLiet's pick, and that was the Warden play, so maybe it's time to send in the third different hero in this series, and then it's gonna be fireworks.
Yeah.
I mean, we said it's a big series for LawLiet, but it's obviously a very big one for HawK as well, because he's not in this opportunity each and every single day either. Just winning this series will give him $2,000 extra, and of course he'd still be in the running into the playoffs. Let's go ahead and see what you guys think at home. Earlier today it was somewhat close, but we did see a relatively one-sided 2-0. What is it going to be this time? Wise people of the internet. I'm gonna say 67% LawLiet. Oh my goodness, only 54. The Russians are out in full force.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the bots are coming in. Spamming the Twitch chat. But man, HawK is a pretty famous streamer over there in Russia. It doesn't surprise me that they come over to the ESL Twitch and rig this vote a little bit.
CORSAIR, any final thoughts about this best of 3 before I throw it to the casters?
I hope it's closer than the last one. I really do.
I think you speak for all of us. Let's see what the decider match of Group C has in store for us. Todd and Remo are ready. Have fun, guys.
Decision in Group C. Who's it going to take? Is it going to look as one-sided as earlier? Or are we going to have the rematch curse continuing? One of these statements going to ring true here now.
Yeah, and I like that HawK made the adjustment of vetoing Last Refuge. LawLiet not vetoing Northern Isle though. The statistically best map for Human against Elf. That's very interesting. He went for the Echo Isle veto, which for a Warden player it's almost weird to see that.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. I am in fact a big fan of the map and the strategy, unlike Radi. But let's first introduce our players. In the bottom left, in the red, crazy win earlier against Insup. Now trying his luck again is HawK.
In the yellow, yeah.
Oh, there's the red. Excuse me.
In the top right, this one's the red player. The Night Elf from South Korea. It is LawLiet.
Yeah, getting back to the maps. You mentioned it, Northern Isles, for a long time. This was the standard veto for Night Elf always, against Human especially. Human can fast expand here, get level 2 right away, and if they're lucky, get +9 claws, although that's not very likely, and get off to a good start. But nowadays, things seem to have changed. Tide Hunters also seems to be a decent early game Human map. LawLiet rather vetoing this, and Echo Isles. That's the big question mark in this matchup, right? I talked to Cruncher before, and some other humans, and they really hate playing Echo Isles because of the Warden that you mentioned, with which LawLiet is so good. But I've seen also in the past, Chimiko especially, play an MK super fast expansion, which also looked very good against Warden as a counter. So perhaps for that reason, LawLiet not willing to go to Echo, being aware seemingly of a counter that could be possible. I don't think HawK would have played like that, MK fast expo.
Yeah.
But anyways.
If you don't veto Northern Isle, you can be pretty sure that Human's gonna pick it. So maybe LawLiet has like a pocket strategy.
Yeah,
it's not about going for straight expo on this map. That's like the best creep route by far usually. So that's what LawLiet should expect. Maybe some mass tier 1 all-in that is practiced and really refined, where he would be confident with it. But yeah, so far it's just going to be a keeper Tusker camp opener here. In terms of creeping, he's not going to go for the straight expo himself, which HawK is actually scouting for. And actually HawK is creeping the small green down his base. He's not creeping the expansion immediately. So perhaps wary that LawLiet would be doing some sort of, mass tier 1 push against Witch.
Yeah.
Much better to get the Archmage level 3. What he's doing now, though, would have been bad against Walden. So he took a little bit of a gamble. I mean, there is always some of that. Great amount picked up for LawLiet. the best item by far you could have found here. And claws on the other side. No rings and crystal balls so far, Remo. We'll get there. Let's just wait a little bit.
Yeah, HawK, he's on a bit of a hot streak right now with the items coming fresh off of Concealed Hill. Especially with that back mana potion. Throwing more treants, throwing more entangles. A Huntress push could be very scary. This mass hunts all in. We've been seeing more and more of as of late. But LawLiet can also very well go into the late game. And that seems to be the plan. Counter expansion coming up, Tree of Life, even way before the tech. So tier 2 for LawLiet will be quite a bit later than usual.
Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about here. Ring +4. Obviously, this is one of the maps where you can kind of get rid of that easily with the marketplace plus the merchant in center. Sometimes you can even replace that immediately with some extra damage item. And HawK's gonna pull the Murloc camp here, and he hasn't sent a footman on the right-hand side here to detect this keeper moving in position to kill peasants. So he might start losing peasants very quickly here in a second.
Earlier in their encounter on Autumn Leaves, the Keeper did a lot of damage, way too much damage, honestly, with the treants against the expansion. You got like 6 peasants. That is too much. Some peasants, of course, will fall, as we see here. First peasant dead, second one, however, saved. And this is looking quite a bit better already. Keeper doesn't have enough mana for the next set of treants unless he pops that potion.
And in the meantime, LawLiet's creeping with just his archers, the Murloc camp on the other side. So he's getting very close to level 3 here already. He's gonna summon more treants. He wants to kill some more of these peasants. Maybe that was the bad timing, actually, because now they're militia, so they're gonna deal a lot of damage to the treants, kill them, and that might feed the Archmage level 3, or at least bring him closer to it. Keeper almost level 3 himself, and tech already starts for the Night Elves. This is really the strength of this build, is that you can tech very quickly. Okay, there needs to be a deny here. Okay, he's gonna get it. That was one of the easier ones to get. If he missed that one, I would have been worried, Remo.
Even I may have been able to get that one. The Keeper now very close to level 3. There's one more creep left at the green, by the way. I'm not sure if that's enough for that level 3, though. And of course, we all know that's going to make things for the human quite difficult once level 2 Entangle is unlocked. That is the big strength of Keeper in this matchup. The early game / mid-game ability to deal with footmen. You use one level 2 Entangle, hit the footies twice, and that's going to be a kill.
Stuff of Telly, a great pickup here. It's going to give so much initiative to LawLiet, who picks up Sentry Word as well. So a lot of vision and information to be gathered. The ring going to be sold here, I'm guessing. No, he keeps it, actually. Buys another claw. So he wants that extra tankiness. Maybe save it up for the second hero.
Yeah.
Which usually is going to be a melee hero. You know, either... I mean, Panda, Mount Tanking, unless you go Blood Mage. And maybe that's the hint, actually, that he wants to go for Panda or Mount Tanking. Because if you want to go Blood Mage, maybe it's sell the ring, or maybe it just doesn't need the gold. Maybe I'm just reading into this too much.
Yeah, the Asians have been a big fan of Blood Mage for a long time. I really like the Panda second and then tier 3 and Blood Mage third build that HawK sometimes plays, but that of course takes a long time to fully come to fruition.
Archmage targets. He was right to keep that ring, man.
He knew it all along. But now with only 4 footmen, it's unrealistic here to do much. The Archmage the archers, deal with the Water Elemental, and the Keeper deals with the footies easily. And this is a very tough moment in the game for the human. You want to be active. You want to harass the Night Elf if you can. Perhaps even look for some building cancels, slow down the expo, something. But with the Keeper around and with enough mana, it's so hard to be effective with a footman.
Yeah, if you're a HawK here, you're just trying to slow down the expansion. The problem is that you might be feeding level 4 to the Keeper, which then, yes, of course, eventually you're going to get Priest and stuff, but Treants can still harass peasant lines very, very well. Nice catch here on the Ancient of War as it was moving. It's obviously weaker when it's uprooted, so it's going to be able to get a snipe on this. So that means that won't be able to set up maybe, you know, at the lab or even at the red camp to help and creep there.
It's a pretty big deal. That's where the Panda would have gone after the natural. Go to the lab, creep that one, and then maybe also move to the marketplace. Keeper taking out more and more footies. HawK looking for some cancel. There's going to be a cancel on the lore, I believe. Oh, is it? Archmage getting entangled. Should be enough damage, and that lore is cancelled, yes. But you mentioned the Keeper close to 4 already.
What second hero is HawK going to go for? I really wonder here. Panda can be really good. It's really become one of the... almost like the standard that you'd want to go into. Can be very strong. You level it to level 3, and then usually because you're playing an army that includes a lot of casters and breakers, sometimes some rifles, sometimes a little bit of mortals in support, you don't always have the most sieging power. But with Panda 3, you do. Because let's say you attack a tree, Wisps cannot repair because they get one shot from Breath of Fire level 2.
I think one thing that the Panda is also really good at that sometimes gets overlooked is he's a great tank. to have one more tank in the Breaker frontline can help out quite a bit. And the MK, I think, is even worse at that than the Panda, but I mean...
I think
make an
Drunken
argument.
Haze also is like one of the most underrated
Yeah,
things in this whole game. Like FFA players know about the true strength of Drunken Haze.
So does Neo. He's been telling me for 6 years. I tried to ignore it for a while, but I gotta say, he's got a point.
Don't let him hear that.
I think he did already. He's brushing his own shoulders right now. I knew it!
LawLiet trying to level that Panda. You mentioned it. That Ancient of War should have been there to help out with this. Great map presence by HawK, though, to be able to do this. Obviously, leveling Archmage down to level 4 doesn't do much, and he also would be wasting some of the easier camps near his base that he was going to save for his second hero, which is a Blood Mage.
All right, going with the Blood Mage, of course, going to be very tempting against an enemy Panda. Love to drain some mana off of him. And if you get Blood Mage to level 3, 4, very strong. And if you get him to 5, that Flame Strike against Bears is crazy.
And then level 6. Don't forget the level 6.
I haven't seen that in a while, honestly.
Yeah.
But the Phoenix, yeah. That's actually the ultimate bear killer, right? Oh, the Shredder. LawLiet has to buy the Zeppelin to save the Shredder. That would have been too expensive of a loss.
Get an evac. HawK shooting for the steal here. Not going to be able to get it. And that's Panda 3 already with double Ring of Regen.
Double Ring of Regen. You can tank every camp now.
This is a battle Panda.
Ring of Regen, one of my favorite items in the game. But now strong levels for LawLiet. 4 and 3. Jesus Christ.
Against 3.2 Archmage. And
Can we take a look at the experience graph? Because that one's going to look crazy.
all right, let's see. LawLiet's
Oh, baby.
about to finish. He's going to be able to pick up an orb immediately. He's got the Adept training for Bears on the way. And I wouldn't be surprised to see some Fairy Dragons being added here to this composition momentarily. You just want to go for a lot of Bears, really. Add Fairy Dragons to help deal with casters. On the other side, HawK actually... Wait, he broke upkeep. He went into 52 here. A little bit weird. Maybe he should have delayed that and saved a little bit of gold, because he actually has close to no bank right now.
I'm looking to see if maybe he gets this Shredder, but no. Shredding will continue.
Shrektening.
Well, if one of these players shreds, then that's HawK, I think.
He is pretty shredded.
Despite all the cakes he eats, I don't know how he does it.
Does he eat cake?
Yeah, man, he loves cake.
I'm pretty sure I talked to HawK about diet before, and he told me that he eats oatmeal every single morning. Not with milk, made with water. The discipline on this guy. One of the blandest foods out there.
Oh, and also chicken and broccoli, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, chicken and broccoli is delicious, though. Maybe not
Can
if
you
you eat it
imagine
every
playing
day.
human all the time and then having this diet? Like, how does this man actually enjoy anything?
Maybe it makes sense, you know? To be a good human player, you gotta enjoy suffering.
All right, pull on the merchants. Militia is actually really nice to have there, but it should be only like 1 or 2 Breath of Fire to get rid of this. But actually, he tanks the first Breath of Fire, then sends them home. You guys have done your job. Get out of here.
Maybe ready for round 2, we're gonna have another gang. But this item should be going to HawK. Could be a big one. Oh, no, actually, LawLiet. Oh, he was waiting for the null to return. That was pretty well done. Did he get the last hit? I'm not sure.
Thanks for the cheese. Catch you later.
The Flute of Accuracy, is that going to be relevant? I think as long as he has archers, I guess yes. How much longer is that going to be the case? We don't know. HawK got no heal scrolls. That was hugely important. LawLiet was able to steal them both with the Keeper, and that makes pushing for HawK much harder.
Yeah, the way you can make up for that is you fight now as HawK, you drain a lot of mana out of the Panda, and then when everything is going to start running a little low, you TP to your Expo, regen scroll, and then go again.
Yeah.
And you hope that while doing that, you're going to be the one to be on time at the merchants to actually buy the scroll.
Oh, LawLiet intercepting the Militia has an easy fight here at the moment. Panda runs in, Dragon's Breath of Fire, huge combo! And as we said, no Scroll of Protection, Scroll of Healing, excuse me, at the moment. LawLiet not committing in too hard. I feel like the top elves have figured that out so well, knowing when to engage and when not to with the Bears. On lower levels, the Knights would just run in with the Bears, and here we go. A-click, let's see how it goes. Yeah. But the top elves really know exactly when and how to take those engagements.
Yeah, this army of HawK is not that good at sieging, because there is no mortars there yet, so rifle's not going to be that amazing against buildings. LawLiet now feels like he has to take the fight, so he will, but HawK, he's not committing to this, even though it looks like he's committing. Castle started behind it, so he wants to go into frag shards and castle tech behind this. But actually, that might have been the wrong choice. He's doing really well right now. Maybe just getting more units and committing to the attack might be correct, he's probably surprised. He's like, why am I taking to castle? I'm killing this dude right now.
Yeah, LawLiet here at the moment in this frame looking a bit rough, but at the supply we still see he's up, and he's got more and more bears, of course, coming from the main. And that was one of the thickest buffs in the latest patch. Every bear that comes in is going to have 2 spells available, double rejuve or roar and rejuve. Extremely strong in this kind of pressure situation. That Flame Strike connecting decently, not the greatest. LawLiet still has 1 heal scroll.
It's only Flame Strike 1 as well. Now we're gonna have Flame Strike 2 immediately picked. The Archmage, I think he panicked a little bit because he knew that maybe the Panda could have had 1 more mana pot, which he actually didn't. That was a great move by LawLiet actually to force this downpour, because I think HawK otherwise could have stayed and maybe even like won the game right here. Like he was doing so well with his push. Now he's adding more sorceresses to deal better with the bears. And on the other side, only now does the Ancient of Wind start for LawLiet, who's struggling mana-wise. Like both of his heroes were completely out of mana in the last fight.
LawLiet took a little while to get to the shop. I thought he would try to get the next heal scroll right away, but he was still fast enough to get just that. There's a bit of RNG on this map, right? If you spawn on the top, you have a much easier time getting to those heal scrolls when you're close to the expo. So they're a bit of bad luck for HawK. He's closer to the marketplace in return, but those don't offer heal scrolls, I'm afraid.
Panda is completely out of mana, but there is Staff of Preservation and Staff of Teleportation, so you can go for the world-famous double staff here. And Ankh was picked up on the Blood Mage. Could have maybe sold that because you're not supposed to get targeted, especially because he has the big invuln. But he's already close to 80 supply. He doesn't really need to sell that. Like now you might almost like want to send the Blood Mage in and like be happy if it gets targeted, because then there's going to be useless damage on a hero that will come back anyway. And when Priestmaster training and Frag Shards kick in, the power spike for HawK is going to be gigantic. He can preemptively inner fire everything and then attack, and Frag Shards is going to melt Dryads.
Parry-apt here for the Blood Mage. You wouldn't think of him as a hero that needs tankiness, but I actually think every bit of tankiness of the Blood Mage is good because of, you know, Siphon mana, he stands still, you have to kite, and oftentimes going to be in a bad position. But this is the big camp for LawLiet. He's going to get the big drop from the red. May have to TP out, but first wants to pick it up. The Panda is kind of derping around. This one is magic immune, so it can't be stolen. The last hit. Foot of Cunning on the ground, not the greatest. LawLiet, is he going to take this fight? Seems like he wants to.
He probably shouldn't, yeah. I think he's just looking to try and do some damage, then TP out without losing much and just use rejuve. But those bears are going down very fast. Everything is slowed. Flame Strike did so much damage. The next one is going to be massive inside of those bears here. The floor is lava, Remo.
Heal scroll transferred, wants to use on the Panda, and here he does. Siphon coming in again. He disrupted one Siphon earlier with an Entangled. Can't do it anymore. The heal scrolls are wasted, or at least used. Weren't wasted, so LawLiet has to leave. And that was not a bad exchange for HawK at all. And now, he's got some pretty good upgrades. He's got the rifles looking strong. He's got some Sorks in here as well, of course. And he's got the ever amazing Inner Fire.
Ooh, 3 Moonwells near there. I think LawLiet needs a mana pot and anti-magic potion on the Panda to break away from the first Siphon, ideally, and then force the Dispel as well. That tree is going to die so fast here, thanks to Flame Strike. He's not going to be able to TP on time! Oh my goodness! And now those Moonwells are going to be exposed. The Fairy Dragon is being sent into the Expo for no reason on its own. It's going to be sniped. You can't afford to lose this. If he only has 1 or 2 Fairy Dragon behind this, which is the case, those can get targeted down by rifles very easily. LawLiet in a world of trouble right now.
He also never got the Orb of Venom, by the way. I mean, now he's broke. Now I get it, but earlier he had gold. He never got it, perhaps forgot about it. And I think that was the first clear mistake, not the orb, but rather TPing out too late at the red camp. If he TPs out earlier, and then he pays closer attention to the Entangle against the Siphon and the Anti-Magic, this would look much better. Panda comes in, big damage once again, TP out by HawK. He knows he's in a great position, no need to throw anything away right now.
Yeah, after killing the Expo here, you just know, like, you've almost got this game on lock. You're just gonna not mess up. He was a little bit sloppy here, actually, with the Blood Mage. Should have definitely siphoned before getting out. Any mana you can take away from the Panda is always going to be amazing. Like, obviously, they don't have unlimited Moonwells, even though sometimes it feels like it. And yeah, with the +3 attack on the way now, HawK, his army is just going to become absolutely insane. As he gets that, he still has 2 Mortars. He's got a bunch of rifles. And that Inner Fire. I mean, I know you're a big fan of these upgrades. He's going to do so much for him in the fight.
It's still a little scary for HawK, considering his front line. He has hardly any of that, so if the bears get a really good connection, this could still work out. I think that's what LawLiet needs right now. He needs a really good trade, a really good fight, take out a big chunk of HawK's army while expanding in the meantime. But guess what? He's not expanding. HawK is TPing back. 80 supply. Great position. And he's got lots of rifles as well to deal with these fairy dragons. In the past, I felt like humans were oftentimes too low on riflemen, but here HawK certainly isn't.
Oh, the fairy dragon, you can't lose that. Yeah, those bears are having the worst game ever because every time that they come in, there is breakers, sorceresses, and flame strike dealing with them instantly. So they haven't been able to really do much the whole time that they've been there. 2 Town Polo on LawLiet. I wonder if there was maybe a bit of a panic buy where he pressed the hotkey twice, or if he's already starting to want to run around and hit and run a lot.
Oh yeah, that definitely does look like a mistake. LawLiet, to be fair there, didn't lose too much, still has a big army. But HawK's is bigger. Not just the biceps, but also the army. High upkeep for him already. 83 supply, enough fire everywhere. This Panda needs level 5 badly, and even then I'm not sure that it's enough.
Yeah, LawLiet needs a really good fight somehow. If the fairy dragons are set up well and doing a lot of damage in the fight, he might have a shot. He needs to somehow dodge the flame strike, which is actually, it's harder to do than it sounds. Like spread out the bears, kind of run inside of the army. If he could cancel, yeah, either Siphon or Flame Strike with an Entangle, that'd be amazing as well. All right, Fairy Dragon set up, but there is some Gyrocopters. Getting rid of it. HawK with the great kiting lands a big Flame Strike.
And now the invuln is over. Siphon mana again. Panda completely dry. He had one more breath to use, but that wasn't enough damage. Not at all. It seems like HawK, after a great nail-biting finish there against Instup, here also looking good to take the 1-0 victory, perhaps, or lead, I should say. Earlier had no chance against LawLiet, but here now it's looking great for the Russian.
Yeah, not much he can do here. He just cannot take the fight. So every time he takes that fight here, he's just losing everything a little too quick. Flak cannons on the way now. Iron plating as well for HawK. You don't want to break 80 supply here for a very long time, if ever, really. It's usually better to get more scrolls. And yeah, with everything being interfired here, the value that he got out of this was insane. LawLiet calls GG, and HawK wins game number 1 here in the rematch.
Northern Isles in this matchup definitely was considered to be a good human map. We see here why. LawLiet vetoing Tide Hunters and Equiles. Is that something he's going to regret later? Only if he loses. HawK here now has a good chance to take this one to make top 8, which people didn't expect out of this tough Group C. A top 8 finish would mean $5,000 for the Russian. Can he keep his nerves now?
And here we see the great harassment actually from the Archmage. You know, it might have seemed bad that the Archmage wasn't leveling, but it was actually the correct move here because he saved the camps for his Blood Mage and he slowed down the creeping a little bit. I mean, of course, the Panda still got level 3, but he kept forcing the army to be using Moonwells and heroes as well. And then during the push here, the micro was really clean. Honestly, those Flame Strikes, they were on point. He kept siphoning when he needed to. You don't need frontline here, Remo. You're talking about frontline. No, it's pure damage. That's all you need. Best defense is the offense. Who cares about the frontline?
All right, Neo, I've heard that many times before. HawK takes the 1-0. We're going to go into a quick break and then come back with map 2. The rematch curse may strike again. Earlier, HawK had literally no chance against LawLiet, but here he takes the 1-0 on Northern Isles. Arguably a good map for human. HawK now once again with more confidence behind himself. Can he bring it? Can he finish it? LawLiet, it would be a sad story, man. Oftentimes in these big tournaments, he crumbles under the pressure, LawLiet. We saw before, he has what it takes. But now, he's fighting uphill. And the bottom left, in the red, here we have him for the Night Elves from South Korea, is LawLiet.
His opponents playing human in the yellow from Russia, it is HawK. Look at his guns, man.
Quite intimidating, just like his gameplay on map number 1.
No, we're on LawLiet's map now.
We are.
And if we go to a map 3, I want a map 3 so bad, Remo. What do we get?
Shallow grave.
Would it be the first time?
It will be the first time. This whole tournament, we haven't quite seen it yet. Players still aren't too familiar with it. It's very newly in this map pool. It was added only for the winter season. And yes, LawLiet's map. A map where oftentimes he will play Warden. In fact, we saw that between the two in the War 3 Champions Finals, Season 8. Or was it season 7? I forget. Anyways, it was a sick game, but this time he's not doing that. He's going with a tried and true keeper, which is what happened earlier between them, right? HawK went for green into Expo. LawLiet crept this camp first, the natural. Wait, am I lying? No, I think I'm not lying. I think he crept the natural first, and then went over to harass with the keeper and did so much damage against the peasants. HawK needs to defend that better this time around.
He just steamrolled him completely the last series. Like, he wasn't just last refuge, also Autumn Leaves, so like pretty one-sided. But it seems like HawK, he's coming back with a revenge this time around. You know, he got like quite a few games in against Insup as well, so he was the one being more active. Sometimes some players get tired. But you saw his photo. This guy's hit the gym all the time. He's got endurance for days, and apparently he's doing better here later into the day than LawLiet so far. Hoping for a good item here. Item number 1. LawLiet, we saw him before shake his head when he found a ring against Moon. Let's see what it's going to be this time.
Firstfully getting ensnared was a bit scary there. Keeper finds +5 Agi from the Tome and Slippers. Not exactly the best, and very similar drops for HawK.
Yeah.
Oh, losing 1 peasant to the creeps. I think he got the Watch Elemental ensnared, right? That is not what's supposed to happen here. He took a lot of damage on his workers and the footy.
That's actually pretty terrible. I don't know how that happens. You're supposed to let the 2 ensnares go through and then you make the Water Elemental. Very rare to see this kind of mistakes at this level. Where's this keeper going? He's running past everything. I gotta be somewhere, guys.
It looks like he knows there's damaged peasants in the main and he wants to summon treants, maybe? But he's swinging around to the other side, to the other side.
And this time LawLiet feels confident enough to make the tree like very early, like last time. I thought he was gonna make it on location actually, but not quite. He still makes it a little bit remote as to make sure it doesn't get cancelled.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier. I like that as well. It's going to be much more likely that it's going to stay up. Earlier in their encounter, by the way, LawLiet got a key detonate off and was able to get level 2 quickly. This time, not the case, because HawK was paying attention and forced the Wisp to stay away. And I think not a single peasant may have died here. This is a very different kind of an early game and a much better one for HawK.
And LawLiet was about to buy Mercs, but then HawK moved towards the center to prevent that, so now that's going to be delayed. They should be able to get them eventually. HawK might try and force the defense back at home. Wait, he knows that there's no entangle. He sees this keeper level, he's like, oh, no entangle. All right, open bar over there. Like, let's just go in there and do some work.
Merc purchase on this map can sometimes be a bit tricky. If you hire them too late, they're going to take a lot of damage.
But he didn't buy...
Oh,
he didn't buy the Berserker. He only got the Priest, which is about to die. It's a complete disaster.
Needs to block against the Archmage. Ooh, that was important. Needs to save the Shadow Priest, and I think he did. LawLiet in hot water right here. In serious trouble.
In hot water? Is he stuck in a swamp, man? Can't make anything happen so far this series. Circlet and Dust of Appearance picked up by HawK. Maybe the staff would have been nice to grab as well, as to take that away from LawLiet. He takes down an archer, and LawLiet is stuck on 1.9. This is the roughest LawLiet series I've seen in a while. It's complete reverse from the first time when they played.
Man, it really seems... It's a sad look here. It seems like the nerves once again are really getting to him. I think he killed 0 peasants this game. That's ridiculous. 0 peasants? When does that happen? HawK wisely was retreating earlier to protect the injured peasants. Expansion still comes up at a decent time. LawLiet does have the faster tech though. That is his big upper hand right now. And then he's going to go to the tavern for sure. Not going to go Demon Hunter this time. Cancels the tower as well. This could very well be a Naga again.
As the leader of the Anti-Peasant Poaching Association, I can tell you this has never happened at a game like this. Has had 0 peasant kills, but it's about to change. Lots of trains. How did he get this many trains with level 1? He spent like every single one that he had as soon as the cooldown was up. He's still struggling to kill anything here.
The targeting there was a bit off. Finally level 2.
That's the first peasant that he's killed.
Yeah. 5 minutes 40 level 2. That is so late. That is really bad, to be honest. Finally, the entangling of the gold mine across the map is also going to be happening. Keeper chasing after the Archmage still. He does have an entangle here in a moment. Both ready to fight this mano y mano. But the Keeper's going to be the one who has to fall back. Archer's back in the peasant line. Tier 2 finished. It's time for a second hero for LawLiet.
Yeah, the tech difference is significant here. LawLiet just finished his tech. HawK only now started his. So that's definitely something that he's got going for him. And eventually LawLiet started finding some damage. Now the expansion about to be saturated here for LawLiet. And this time around, I think he knows what he has to fix from last game, where he was a little bit timid with the fights, like the Moonwells, they were kind of far from the expo. Maybe he fought a little too early the first time around. He misread the situation a little bit.
Which hero is it gonna be? The Naga, indeed. When defend is finished, holding on against this is gonna be much easier, but this is still valuable seconds. Defend, not even halfway done. HawK now has to buy time.
The Enchanter 4 finding its way to the lab as well, so LawLiet can kind of fall back eventually and try and creep that. HawK shooting for a surround. Where are the entangles? He's waiting for the Archmage to step out of position, to get overconfident like this. He almost blocked himself here. That would have been a disaster.
One tower could perhaps also be cancelled. Very easy if he targets it. Not protected at all. HawK cancels it right away, but lots of militia here in footy right now to defend. Good militia call by HawK. He's going to be losing some units here, of course. But he wants to push back this Night Elf at some point.
Yeah, defend was so important here to finally get to help out against this. And LawLiet immediately straight to tier 3. He's getting double Dryad plus Abolish to deal with those water elementals. Ooh, that was so close.
Ooh. A couple of times here, the Naga almost getting surrounded, but barely slipping out of that. She, as a snake lady, is quite nimble.
She slithered out of there, Remo.
She sure did.
Yeah, the bear timing is going to be really strong. And we saw the last time that they met on this map, LawLiet just was getting a couple bears, he kept being very aggressive, and then bears showed up with double rejuve, saved everything that needed to be saved, and he just kind of steamrolled the expo, which is why we're seeing HawK with a triple tower on the expo. He already is getting double arcane, he's getting one more scout tower. He wants to make sure that he defends. He knows that if he can make it to 80 supply, his positioning is going to be key. Setting up the concave, pulling back against fairy dragons. Even if he was to be behind, which right now is, I wouldn't say is particularly, you can still come back in this type of game. Whereas if your expansion gets breached and you lose all the peasants, that's almost unrecoverable here.
LawLiet at 50 supply, but most of that is piercing damage to the footies with defend. Pretty effective right now. LawLiet with a lot of units very hurt. Panda with a Breath of Fire doing a bit more chip damage. That's a lot of Wisp at the expo, by the way. Using some of them to detonate. That could be more experience for LawLiet as well. Archer getting caught off to the side.
Just need to force TP. I think he will. HawK really waiting until the last second here. You want to be careful here. And LawLiet gets the defense here, but Moonwells, not so much juice to work with. He needs to start getting bears here, which he is with the first two now on the way. Whereas on the other side, the Sanctums were actually very delayed because he had to use militia. He lost some peasants, even though it wasn't that many. And he made multiple towers. So that was a lot of lumber lost on that, which delayed his Sanctums.
Yeah. And of course, LawLiet was looking for some kills here all the time. But after he found that defend was finished, he wanted to at least fall back and creep the middle. These middle camps, very rewarding in items and experience. And with the Ancient of War, the lab should be easy to do, even investing the Entangle on the Keeper. That's still not quite level 3 yet. This is such a late Keeper level 3. How different these games have looked. Scourge Bone Chimes, though, hallelujah! If ever there is an item to help out with bears, it's this one.
Yeah, it's going to make it really amazing for them to replenish some hit points while fighting. Naga gets level 2. On the other side, once Archmage level 3, you really want to pull that back to work on getting Panda level 3 as soon as possible. HawK might just go to the top left to do the base that's up there to try and level up more, but he grabs a scroll and heads to the center. So he wants to try and contest, like you know that by now one of the camps will probably be finished. He might try and contest the other one, interestingly enough. I don't particularly think this is great timing for him to go and fight, but he seems to think otherwise.
Interesting that in this game we see completely different second hero choices, of course thanks to the map, with being so high pressure and all that. In the past, LawLiet used to play with his combo Demon Hunter third quite a bit. Is that out of fashion nowadays, or is that still worth considering?
Yeah, it can be okay as well, but I think this was a lot about competing for the center. Naga just is the best hero to do that, because even on low level it's still useful. Later on you'll still get some AoE with Fort Lightning level 2. So it's really map dependent. Like this is really the one map where you're going to be clashing for the center a lot of the time. And now HawK is going for a strong push with 59 supply. LawLiet has 67, but all those units are missing. Bears coming in. There's going to be nothing to prevent the rejuve here, so he might be able to keep a lot alive. Naga almost 3. That's going to be a key level here. Fort Lightning level 2 is going to wreck but HawK has double healing scroll still.
Oh yeah, there's level 3 against the footies right now. Could be huge. HawK's army seems to have melted away. This push, Todd, I don't think we're going to see it look too successful right now. Invo Potion saves the Panda, but this push, I don't know if there's any saving that.
This is so weird, because he's going mortals behind it, so it feels like he's getting the standard solid 80 supply army, but then he makes this weird 60 supply attack.
Yeah.
When LawLiet clearly has enough, instead of going to creep the Panda 3, he could have just done that.
He lost so much right here. Could lose a lot of peasants on the way back as well. On map 1, we saw patient play by HawK. Go for a push, see what you can do, but don't overcommit. Tiek up behind. This time, it's a different story. HawK completely stuck on tier 2. No tier 3 option in sight. And LawLiet, after a rough early game, taking a huge lead now here in this late game stage.
Shadow Graves, man. We all want to see it. It's, you know, it would be a best of 1 for $2,000 on Shadow Graves.
No pressure, though.
Yeah.
No pressure.
This is only the newest map in the map pool. Why not?
And by the way, LawLiet told me on Shallow Grave he likes Warden quite a bit. Worth remembering if we go there, which seems like we will. Archmage in trouble, getting blocked by his own army. Move, move! Let me go to the back. He couldn't. Has to read from the scroll to reposition into the back. We have 2 towers here, but only arcanes. Also, no semblance of a wall. I like how he's putting 1 farm there to just like pretend it's a wall.
Yeah.
But it isn't really. And the Bear's gonna clobber down this Expo. I don't think there's any way of saving this. The peasants can't even reach for the repair too well. So much damage with the roar and the 1-1 Bears. LawLiet snipes the expansion. Heal wards, by the way, have been sick.
Yeah.
Could TP out now if he wants, or just reposition LawLiet.
Oh, the casters! Look at the
Looking what
fairy
he can
dragon!
do. Oh my goodness!
It burns!
Nice heal scroll to heal him up once again, but especially the firepower for HawK is lost. He's got like 1 rifle and 1 mortar team left.
I think HawK had to level that Panda to 3. There is no way. Like, if you wanted to hit the timing, hit it earlier, but yes. Panda level 2 not gonna be enough, and LawLiet gets the equalizer here. After a worrying game 1, stays in there, doesn't do a lot of damage in the first place, but still manages to find enough damage to do well later on. And we're headed to Shallow Graves. Finally! It's about time.
First time for the new map. LawLiet making sure his eyes aren't too dry. That's the
Looks like
weird
he's
shot.
crying.
That's gonna land on Reddit. Guaranteed. With some weird caption.
Me after 3 games in a row.
That could be a fun template, actually. Maybe HawK here had the read. Hey, I had a good early game. I got out this early pretty unscathed. I'm leveling well. I got the defense, I got the scrolls. Now is my time to push. Perhaps just having the wrong idea of how far ahead he was once LawLiet had the Bears. And yeah, the early game didn't do too much damage, but the expo timing for LawLiet was still good, and he wasted no time banking. He went for Bears right away at the first 2, then he had 2 more, he had 4. He got the heal wards as well, and the Scourge Bone Chimes, which were sick in that hold as well. Alright, guys, we're gonna have 1 more decision to be made here in the group. Shallow Grave finally gonna be played after this break. We go full distance once again in the decision match in Group C.
Shadow Graves, baby!
Shallow Grave for the first time, and perhaps also the first time, that the rematch is not going to be cursed. LawLiet versus HawK, the first time in the upper bracket, was extremely one-sided, no chance for HawK, but here on map 2 or on encounter 2, it's looking differently. Now, Shallow Grave, they didn't have their previous encounter. It's going to be a first-time experience for them playing on this new map. In the bottom right, in the red. Can he do it from South Korea for the Night Elves? It is LawLiet.
His opponent in the northwest, in the yellow playing human from Russia, it's HawK. Gains. Gains for days, really.
I have heard no pain, no gain. What kind of pain do you think he has endured to manage these gains?
Probably thousands of deadlifts.
I was trying to give you an alley for playing human, but you did not fall for it. Todd, you resisted the bait. I'm proud.
I don't know if his fitness journey has much to do with
I think so. You know, have to be one body and mind. And the question was, where are we going to see her? And indeed, we were. The Warden, as I said, LawLiet said here on the new map, the Warden is definitely playable. Some people call it the new small Terrana stand, Shallow Grave. Do you think that's fair to say? Are there enough similarities and stuff?
Well, the thing is, on Terrana stands, like you'd go Warden no matter what, because you can blink straight into the expo of the human. So that's like a big difference. Whereas on this map, if you're human, Night Elf might still go for like a regular, keeper or something, right? So that's something that you have to worry about, or even a Beastmaster. So then against that, you'd want to go for Mercenary Camp first, right? To have the Troll Priest. But against Warden, it's the opposite. You'd want to go for straight Expo. So that's the real difficulty. So I think LawLiet is counting on HawK to anticipate perhaps a regular opener with a Keeper, to maybe go for the Merc Camp first, against which the Warden is going to be pretty good. And guess what? He made the right bet.
Interesting. But on Terrana stand in the past, you would also want to go for Merc Camp first against the Warden, right? So...
yeah, but with Mountain King, right?
Okay,
a lot of time. It was a completely different dynamic. And also the Warden can blink straight into the Expo and like get out easily. Like there is definitely some dynamics that make it somewhat different.
All right, we do see a Merc Camp first here being taken by HawK. Night Elves can't really take the Merc Camp here first. It's a bit too hard to creep, too much Wisp Repair and all that, but they can certainly creep it later. Especially with the Warden, double Ancient of War creeping, we will oftentimes be seeing LawLiet amazing at that. And double Ancient of War indeed will be the case here. The tech for that reason delayed for LawLiet, but the leveling will be sped up as he already got level 2 thanks to the footy.
Yeah, like HawK seeing the Warden here, he might just play one base. Against Warden, you never want to creep level 3 and fast expand, because then if you expand, you just low tech, and then the Warden can just like kill a lot of peasants eventually after level 3 or after level 5, or take complete map control, and then the elf can expand himself and all that. So an alternative to just getting into this kind of game is to just play one base rifle push. So I really wonder whether HawK might try that, or if he will still try to expo. I see him moving left now. He might still try to go for that expansion, even though Warden's going to be level 3 very quickly, which you never want when you face a Warden. It's just such a scary thought. LawLiet, by the way, dropping a ring. Couldn't have been too happy about this. And now he gets the big invuln, maybe the worst item out of all the ones he could have found here.
Heavy commitment for LawLiet to try to creep here as well, right? He went double Ancient of War and also 3 Wisp Repair, detonated one of the Wisps to get rid of the Inner Fire. The tech is super late, considering he's playing one base creeping only now. Archmage clearing out the natural will be getting level 3, but so will the Warden soon.
He sold the ring and bought boots here to be faster. Warden with 2.8, keen to try and score some kills, maybe to get 3. He could just creep with units as well, especially if he bought the Merc. His Water here would be very important bit of experience. Might do a couple hits and a Fan of Knives if he takes that, but that's denied before that can happen. LawLiet hasn't picked a second spell yet. He's only working with Shadow Strike level 1 so far.
There was an important deny right there, and here we see the power of double Ancient of War. You can swing from one camp to the next. While one is creeping, you can walk over to the other. Second Ancient of War is walking towards the Merchant already, but HawK smartly placing a sentry ward there to see when that is happening. footy also scouting the creeping there. Should know that that creep is level 3 for the Warden. Indeed it is.
Oh, he knew that the Warden was going to run there. That's so sick, actually. He had Militia already. He might force the TP here, or the Invuln. Warden has to kind of run away, and LawLiet didn't prioritize the staff. And HawK took that away. He staffed on the other side of the map. I think he stole the item.
Yeah, another ring.
Dude, that Archmage is immortal. Just send him in, open the cage, and unleash him on the Night Elf.
Dude, it's so many rings everywhere, all the time. Invul potion on the Warden now, though. She can stay in this and take a lot more peasant out. 4 peasant kills. All right, now the game gets weird. On one side, creeping is stopped. On the other side, a lot of peasants going down. Can we make out who this is better for?
Not really. It's too early to say. It really depends what happens now. Like, everything that's going to happen in the next minute is going to be very important. HawK really wants this Ancient of War for some reason. He needs to be careful not to feed the Warden too much. She's already 3.4. It's not that far away, like, you know, to get level 5. Yeah, there you go. More XP, 3.5 now. And I'm surprised LawLiet actually went down there, because, like, obviously the staff was already taken. That's probably what he wanted to grab. But he wasn't there anymore. Loses that Ancient of War. The other one is set up at the Merchant in the bottom left, funny enough. So he might head down there to creep that, but maybe just clearing out his expo first so he can take it might be better. But no, he's headed to the left-hand side now.
LawLiet getting bonus experience now, being on tier 2. 15% bonus experience for the solo hero, the Warden. Killing these peasants was a big deal. Lumber still low for HawK, and tier 2 still hasn't started yet. Ooh, boy. That's going to be a late keep for HawK this game.
Double lore at 6 o'clock for LawLiet. Almost forward. Maybe he wants to play aggressive with this. So even though he made the tree, if he didn't have the tree to expand with, I would have thought maybe he wants to do a one-base bear bust, but...
Oh, he steals the item. Wow! What a play by HawK. He steals the Scourge Bone Chimes away, which is so huge, considering bears will be coming at some point. And the second Ancient of War was also destroyed. This is all thanks to the sentry. The sentry that was placed here told him the timing of the creep, and this is a big problem for LawLiet.
This was online, you know, we could have blamed this on ping. Can't do that here.
That Berserker, by the way, but denied by the creeps. The Warden still far away from 5, and it feels like that's what she needs badly. Level 5.
Yeah, first, go and drink a little bit of juice from those Moonwells. And then start harassing again. The Archmage probably should play it safer here for a second and heal up. He doesn't have a Troll Priest, actually. Well, this Archmage might just die when the Warden comes back. There is no blink, but... Imagine if LawLiet buys Invis Potion and then just runs in, gets close to the Archmage. That's going to be Shadow Strike Fan and just instant death. That's why he's forcing the Arcane Vault. I think he realized he needed to heal very fast here.
It was so important to take out these Ancients of War.
Oh, he's trying to cut off the retreat of the Archmage. Muddy is going to slow down the Warden. Can HawK get away? There's no blink, remember.
Archmage should be safe. The footies perhaps less so the case. If the Ancient of War had survived, maybe could be creeping the middle camps, the labs right now for level 5, but taking out these Ancients of War was such a big deal. The Warden struggling to level up here properly. And I got a feeling that this is looking better and better for HawK.
Yeah, Muddy putting in work here, gonna slow another Troll Priest. This is a disaster for LawLiet. He lost both of the Ancient of War. He's not even moving the tree to the expo. Finally realizes and uproots. And he just hasn't been able to do much damage here. This Archmage, the double ring, man. You know it affects the Shadow Strike, right?
No, that's not correct.
It doesn't?
No. In Dota it does with physical damage, but Shadow Strike, I know what you mean. The first bit is magical, the next bit is enhanced physical, but it doesn't actually get reduced by armor.
Okay.
LawLiet, it seems like he needs tier 3 for the bears and for the bonus experience, but he's in such a tough position right now. He's got the expansion at least. His army's still tiny. HawK moving across.
Well, does he have the expansion? Because I think that might be about to change there with this attack, perhaps.
All right, let's see. Abolish Magic is ready at least.
HawK is playing such a beautiful game here. Always attacking when he needs to. You want to be careful not to feed the Warden, but he did such a good job healing up anyway that his footmen are pretty healthy. They can tank multiple Fan of Knives. And that Warden, 4.5 is like the worst. Like you'd want to be level 5 here already to really get rid of these units. And he might be able to get that in a second. Carries a mana pot as well. Muddy needs to go down here because that guy's been putting in work as well. A Dryad goes down.
Oh my god. LawLiet against the ropes.
He has no
Moonwells. All
Moonwells.
sorts of trouble.
He has 0 Moonwells available. And he doesn't have bears.
Mountain King, by the way, soon coming. Then this Warden will have to be very careful. Remember, there is no blink on her. But almost now level 5. Can he get it? He needs it so bad. Mana Potion looking for the kills. Gets the 1 and the 2nd. The Boots making sure he gets these kills. Alright, finally level 5. But might that be too late?
LawLiet is not macroing for some reason. I don't know what's going on here. Why is he not making bears right now? There we go. He starts with bear and adept training. Okay, it's clarity time here. Just use 2 clarities in a row. Sit at home for a little bit.
And by the way, HawK also on the way to tier 3. It felt like maybe there was a window here for him to be aggressive on tier 2. You think that's a bit of insurance policy? Trying to be ready for the ultra late game if somehow LawLiet, you know, comes online with this Warden? Or what's the thinking here?
I'm not sure exactly. Like usually, yeah, you just do a tier 2 push here. But maybe against Warden 5 is like, okay, sometimes you do that and then Warden gets 6 and then Night Elf holds and then just win.
Oh, Warden's surrounded. Look at that with the Water Elemental.
Yeah, there's still no blink, remember. We can't even dodge Bolt here, which is a big problem.
Archmage low HP as well. Has a potion, may have to use it, so will
Does he
the
have
Warden.
Shadow Strike?
Doesn't have mana. The Warden gonna have to run for now. Doesn't have the tele staff, so with that should be able to get back to the
What is
Moonwells.
5.4?
Yeah, starting to get there. Rejuve easily out healing that Stormbolt. That one did nothing.
Don't tell me he kills the MK. No.
Oh, HawK.
No way.
Oh, HawK. It looked so good a moment ago, Todd. What happened?
I think I don't know, he got overconfident here. Even going mount tanking here is almost a little weird because you'd almost always go either Blood Mage or Alchemist second for healing spray. So going MK, maybe it's because there is no blink yet, but eventually there is supposed to be blink. So maybe his plan is just to not let it get there. Mount tanking stuck on no experience, level 1.0, workshop on the way. HawK with a big bank behind this. Maybe he found Vampiric. He was like, all right, I gotta go Knights. Like,
It is good on Knights.
yeah.
That's for sure. LawLiet back in the saddle. I almost saw him out of this tournament already and Neo in tears, but not yet. Did he get another ring? No, okay, he gave that over. I would have started screaming rigged in that case. And now a second hero for LawLiet, being at 50 supply, adds in the Panda. And of course, having Bears and Rejuve and all that, he can creep very quickly now, even without Ancients of War.
Lionhorn picked up for LawLiet. And he hasn't retrained, but he's still gonna go harass. That's because that expansion is open. HawK should have made sure that was closed, actually, because then the Warden would have been able to go in if that had been closed properly.
Is he gonna be forced to TP here? Stormbolt?
Would be worth anyway.
Okay.
He's getting closer to 6.
Where's the MK?
He staffed it back home because it was really low.
Ah, okay. There we go, mystery solved. The dwarf was healing, and the Warden didn't even have to use the TP.
He's hitting the hot springs.
Where's the water? I don't see it. There's the water. The Moonwell's now regenerating once again. LawLiet was begging for nighttime to finally
He's getting
available again. A tank?
Is this like that Fast and Furious scene where he's like, they've got a tank?
Ah, my favorite movie. Level 2 for MK, Book of the Dead. HawK, man, he seemed so far ahead, and all these advantages seemingly slipped away from him. Warden, though, still no blink on her, so getting into position a bit harder for her, but there's an opening into the base.
Oh no, the Archmage. He's tapping out to the Pala. Very well done, actually. It's gonna be an easy save now.
Where the priest, though? Doesn't he have a Sanctum?
Yeah, he only made breakers so far. It's almost like he's playing that Terna style where you go like Knight,
Oh, yeah.
Breaker, and then a
Yeah.
couple tanks to target the Moonwells. HawK's upgrades are pretty good, by the way. He's got 1-1 with +2 armor well on the way. But the problem is that he's trying to play against this like you would against a normal composition, against a non-Warden hero, where you just creep, you get to 80, and then you attack. Against Warden, if you do that, you're kind of going to get harassed to death. You're going to keep losing peasants over and over and over, and that Warden eventually gets level 6, which... How much supply do you think like the spirits and the avatar count for? A lot of supply, I think.
Yeah, like 10 at least.
Yeah.
Probably more like 15. And he might be able to get there. The Panda almost 4 now as well. Claws +12. Not really the best item there from
Oh,
Red
what?
Camp. Warden got more kills. And again, just staffs out. There's one tank over at the Expo. What's the upgrades? 0-2.
He's creep-jacking with just the Panda.
The Mad Lad. Ready to take a fight here with the Bears and a Panda that is full
That might be a
mana.
big mistake, because Warden's not there.
Well,
Oh my god.
oh my god, the Panda
No,
is actually
no.
taking a lot of damage. Healthstone gonna be needed in just a second. Reduced healing, by the way, thanks to the Orb of Fire. But still 5 Bears here ready to brawl. And the Scourge Bone Chimes on the Knights, indeed, being quite helpful.
And the Warden was attacking a tank here at the Expo, which maybe he wanted to make sure he gets closer to level 6 thanks to this. Tanks do give quite a bit of experience, but now he's chasing it with just some Bears. I don't think LawLiet should be taking this fight. He bought an invuln. Thankfully, the mount tanking is out of mana. Wait, but he's just transferring items.
Claws +12 now on the Archmage, where they belong. Watch Elementals can easily be dispelled still by the Dryads. There's more experience for the Warden as well. What's her state now? 5.8. There's not much missing, Todd.
Yeah, it's almost guaranteed gonna get level 6 here. But how much mana? Probably would be a good game to grab Staff of Preservation here to work with the double staff for LawLiet, but he's just been so active on the map. This has been a hectic game. But LawLiet with 76 supply to 74 now. Needs to work on his upgrades. He's usually one of the better elves at upgrading consistently, but like I said, it's been a hectic game. He's only 1-1 against the 2-2 of HawK currently.
More water elements being summoned. We sometimes criticize this. Is this a mistake? Perhaps it might be. The Knights still looking strong right here. Beautiful heal throw by LawLiet. Oh, that was a wonderfully timed one. Mortar team in the back going to be staffed up, but the Knights, they don't seem to be dying. These Scourge Bone Chimes really strong on the mini. Oh, Stormbolt dodged with the TP, saves the Warden, and got her level 6. Makes it back to the Moonwells. Can heal up there now easily. Of course, we have Wellspring upgrade. Panda 4.4. Warden now is 6. And now we have the Avatar. Well, not yet, but we shouldn't move.
Also, I wasn't gonna correct you at all. Mount Taking gets 3. That should be clap level 2 here to try and help deal with those bears. And usually, like, the whole point of going Knights here and Priest is that you should have Inner Fire, but HawK is only on one single Sanctum, and he hasn't researched Master Upgrade yet. Maybe he's gonna wait until he had 80 and then get it. That's a problem. He has only one single Priest. If he already had that, like Inner Fire Knights with Vampiric Aura here, that's with better upgrades, that's kind of the dream.
Oh, the more teams getting caught. You don't want to have those getting flanked from behind, but repositions. Fairy Dragon. Yeah, there's nothing to do with these fairies. But then again, also not too much splash damage to be done.
Yeah, there's only one Priest.
Yeah. Also,
Joke's on you, LawLiet.
and here's the Avatar. There we go. Can't summon anything yet. Avatar requires corpses to summon his spirits. It's gonna get one.
And that's Panda 5 here.
The chicken's like, please, bro. Please, come on. Leave me alone. We're friends here. Chicken lives to see another day. And Red Camp going to LawLiet. That is gonna be Panda 5, I believe. And the big item. Seems like LawLiet now with all the cards in his hand.
No, it's like, come on, hit me with something good. Nope. That's not it. Helm of Valor.
A town is under siege.
And HawK, actually, why is he even moving out here? He should be just kind of sitting at home, waiting to have his composition. Then he can go for the attack. He has double scroll. He's going to be very committed here with this attack. Pala is 2.6.
The double Agent of War going to make things even more difficult.
Oh, he's about to have Priest Master, but... Wait, how many priests are there? He has 0? Wait. Hey, he has no priest.
Yeah, he staffed one out earlier, I believe. Archmage getting targeted. We don't have too much mana on the Paladin, and it's only level 1 Holy Light anyways. HawK really struggling now in this late game. Beautiful anti-magic, dodges the Stormbolt. Gonna lead to another TP forced. Warden sprinkling up these mortar teams. One in the back, didn't quite get the memo. And that one might be going down. No, we have another staff. Triple staff now at HawK. That is one way to be very cost efficient.
And LawLiet is so confident, he's actually taking the Expo in the bottom left. He could, of course, walk his main to a new base after it's depleted. He's got 1.2k here, there in the main. Breath of Fire gonna land on the Knights. Clap needs to hit all of those bears here for HawK to have a chance. The Palace fully surrounded. LawLiet's got to be careful. Pops the Invuln just in case and tries to wear this army down. HawK's already used all of his healing scrolls, but he has triple staff. He could save on so many of these Knights here and let the Mortars do the job, but most of them are already gone.
Panda's about to drop. Level 5 Panda might be going down. Not chasing after him. With the Stormbolt, he could have killed him. I think the Emo Potion was on cooldown. Yes, it was. HawK missing a big opportunity. And LawLiet, I think this fight was going to go better for him. He committed in hard there without a TP. And honestly, gets away with a black eye.
Actually, he's running towards the top right here. Maybe he wants to shop for some scrolls first. HawK looking to just heal. That triple staff. Really something that's become a staple of playing with any kind of castle tech. You can save so many units. After you staff 2 units, you have already kind of like reimbursed that and basically denied experience from the opponents by saving the unit and getting it back to full hit points. So it's super worth. And that Pala is close to 3 now.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge level up. The Mortar team's getting staffed out, saved against these annoying pesky spirits. There's a nice thing as well about the Mortars, right? When they kill the Dryads, there's no corpses that will be created from that. And I don't know, we seem to be back into an even game. This game is topsy-turvy, Todd. At the beginning, HawK was far ahead, then LawLiet brought it back very nicely. Now, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, LawLiet's starting to work with some slightly better upgrades. He finally got the +2 armor, but he definitely needs to get at least the +2 attack. He breaks upkeep into high upkeep here. Okay, never mind, he just cancelled that. He changed his mind. He was like, I need to save a little more first, probably. He's not sure whether he's being attacked now. So maybe he's going to wait until the army is at his doorstep, and then he's going to break with probably 2 more bears here. Feels like he's got enough dryads, maybe even too many.
Are chims worth considering, or is that just going to be a bait for the gyros?
Yeah, no, and the game is too hectic right now. Like, if you go chimps and then you die because you got 2 of them in the production, it's like the worst feeling, so... Ideally, if you're far ahead enough, then yeah, but in this game it's just been so close that it might seem too ambitious at this stage. He forgot the avatar in his main base. LawLiet? No. That's such a big mistake.
Warden running to the back, Fan of Knives doing good damage. He's also pulling the Paladin back there in the MK. Lots of damage against the Priest. Heal Scroll comes in. That was the only heal scroll for HawK.
LawLiet, the avatar is in his main base. He needs to have that out on the map. He's going to push back the human army regardless. Rise a bunch of those priests here. The AoE is just out of control here with Fan of Knives level 3, Breath of Fire level 3. But he needs to still bring that avatar in the fights. That there is no excuse for not having that there.
It's a bit of a sweaty spaghetti game, HawK, Todd. This is not perfect play by either, but certainly still a very high level. It's the end of the day for them.
It's a spicy game, Remo.
Spicy. Not for us, of course. We're going to have Group D after this. We're finally going to get to see Happy. The third base. This could be the nail in the coffin. I feel like we haven't seen too many third bases this tournament, but LawLiet now attempting to get his. Pally has really been struggling with the levels, but he's about to get that level 3. That's going to be a big difference, mate.
Oh, he sent the mortars down there to snipe the tree, even without anything being around. That's super well done. He might be able to get this and then get out. But also the Warden. Oh, the Warden is super close to the mortars.
I can't believe he still doesn't have Blink, but apparently he doesn't need it. Gets the 1, gets the 2. Some good snipes.
Because he's working with, actually, like usually you would want to staff out the Panda and then back in, but he's doing the opposite. He's doing that with the Warden. All right, Avatar and Dryads getting inside of those Knights and Militia ranks here. A tank will fit quite a bit of expense. That Panda is 5.2 here. You don't want to... It went to 5.3 here thanks to that tank. 7 more tanks. And you
that
get the
ultimate added to the Wardens could be quite devastating. The Peasants coming in. That's more corpses for the Spirit, by the way. For the Avatar, I should say. Which is about to run out, however. All right, the next big fight breaks out. MK in the front line with the Clap doing decent damage. The Knights have quite some sustain with the Scourge Bone Chimes. Warden in the front line being backed up by the Panda. Breath of Fire over the top.
Oh my God.
Dodges it. Stormbolt doesn't land thanks to Invul Potion. Bears getting clapped once again. Clap debuff over. Heal Scroll coming in again. Ult runs out. No Spirits anymore. No Avatar anymore. And the Warden's out of mana. LawLiet, does he have to retreat?
He can double staff.
Doesn't look like it. It's going to be TP out by HawK. He lost a lot of units right there. Down to only 55. LawLiet up at 89. This may have done it finally for the Korean.
And remember that HawK expanded way earlier than LawLiet did in this game, so his expansion has only 2,500 gold left. LawLiet's natural has 4,500, and the one in bottom left has 11,000. He's gonna have so much more gold to work with. He could just go to 100 and stay there for the rest of the game. HawK, he has to go all in right now. This is it. I think he's already looking defeated here. Looking on the camera, I see him looking disappointed, and I think he realizes that he might have just lost this here.
Absolutely. Looking at the player cam, man, that is not the best look.
My heart sank, Remo.
After being so close, man, what an early game it was for him. Such a great job sniping both Ancients of War, delaying the expansion, finding the kills, great AM movement, but somewhere it slipped away. He's going to study this replay for sure to figure out what was going wrong. It almost seems impossible, but HawK will try one more time to win this game.
Yeah, LawLiet's actually not got that much mana on the Panda currently. But the Warden, on the other hand, back with a lot of damage, loaded up and ready. He pulls back. He might wait for Militia. Like, if the opponent's already on 100, obviously he can't make much more, right? He can get scrolls and stuff, but you can try and make it to 80 so that there is not that much a supply difference. You might want to preemptively interfere as well. I think he lost almost every one of his priests, though. I only see one of them. Mount taking at the front, so this is actually a good position, maybe the best position that HawK could have started the fight in, but the supply difference and hero levels massively favoring LawLiet.
Dude, look at this bear wave just crushing in from every angle. Panda gets level 6 to boot as well. Doesn't have the mana to end this game with Earthstorm and Fire. Staffs out the Warden. She's going to be safe. We saw a couple of roars there as well. I think LawLiet partly celebrating already. still in high upkeep, ready now to clean up this army. HawK still fighting as much as he can. He has a couple knights left, but all of them low HP. Warden comes back for level 7. She's got so much more mana to use, looking for more kills. The fan connects, more and more kills. The clap lands, but HawK just simply not enough anymore. The supply tells the story. LawLiet completely overtowering. Warden looking for more kills. The breath almost getting a quad kill right there. GG, and it's over. For HawK, it's over, and the rematch curse is over. LawLiet does get the win a second time, but this time it was quite a bit rougher. HawK, man, he was so close to that victory. I think he knows it as well. Tragic ending for him here. He was so close, just like X-Lord. But in the end, it's LawLiet making it through into our top 8.
Definitely must have been worried with the way this was going here. That start of that last game, I was like, all right, well, HawK is in the round of 8. But no, LawLiet stayed patient. He played great, and he would be rewarded with the quarterfinals. We're going to go to a break, and then we'll hear from our... Oh, we're going to go straight to the desk, actually. I don't want to wait through a break, Remo. Let's go and check in with these guys.
Look at Johan Mello thinking we are not ready for him. We're always ready for you, Todd. LawLiet will be the second player to advance out of Group C. But boy, oh boy, did he have to work for it. Neo, we hoped for a closer series. We got a much closer series where HawK had a realistic chance in both Game 2 and Game 3.
Definitely. It started completely different than the first series between them. HawK looked a lot better, put a lot more pressure onto LawLiet. And man, our Korean Night Elf, he had to work for this series, but he never gave up. Fighting spirit and the Warden spirit prevails.
Yeah, we are obviously happy to see the favorites do well, but it's also nice to see them face some adversity and still overcome that. In that first game, HawK played phenomenal. Tier 3, solid. I love the flame strikes. That blood mage second really kicked into overgear, it almost felt, Carson.
Yeah.
And that was only the beginning of what was truly going to be an awesome series.
Absolutely, and at the end there, Shallow Grave really didn't disappoint. We've been waiting for it the whole tournament, and the macro game, that was one of the top games. This tournament has just been incredible so far. There's so many great games we've had. It's hard to even pick a top game at this point.
Yeah, beautiful Warden Panda plays, of course, in Game 3. But I want to ask you about Game 2 real quick, because I felt that HawK had such a good start. Why did he have the urge to end it with a tower push? Why didn't he do the same thing as he did in Game 1?
Yeah, and I think even if he didn't do the same thing as Game 1, he could have still pushed a little bit later. Generally, you'll wait for those first couple sources. He went with his first 2 priests at 59 supply, and you want to have those first couple breakers. Normally, you go for 2 of everything, and then you'll push. But yeah, it was definitely very early.
And your final thoughts real quick about that Game 3. I mean, obviously the Warden Panda combo was brutal, but at one point it didn't look too bad for the Russian either, with both Ancient of Wars going down.
Yeah, absolutely. He did a very good job of pressuring the Warden and denying the creeping, but yeah, later on, once that Warden gets 6, that Panda gets 5, it's almost unstoppable.
And unstoppable it was. Phenomenal games though, really fun to watch. LawLiet once more is the second Korean Night Elf to make it out of Group C, and we're gonna hear from the man himself as he is joined by the lovely Hajin Sun and the even more lovely Neo, don't worry.
I don't know about that, Kev, but thank you very much. LawLiet, congratulations to advancing into the playoffs. This series was a lot closer than the first against HawK. Why is that?
우선 8강 진출 너무 축하드립니다. 제 경기였는데 훨씬 접전이었어요. 첫 번째 경기보다. 왜 그러신 것 같아요?
일단 호크 선수가 맵을 잘 몰라서 라스트 리퓨즈를 키더라고요. 근데 이제 지고 나서 휴먼이 왜 인바인지 생각을 좀 한 것 같아요. 그래가지고 깨닫고 플레이를 하니까 확실히 강한 휴먼을 상대하니까 좀 어려웠어요.
I think the first time you didn't really know about the map, Last Refuge, but then you realize, and you know, human or OP race, imbalance, of course. So I think that's why it was harder this time for me.
All right. We all know that you're a really, really good player, but you don't have that big title yet. Is that some extra motivation for you, or is this more stressful?
롤라 선수가 정말 잘하시지만 사실 큰 대회 우승 경험은 아직 없으세요. 그래서 이번 대회가 조금 더 긴장되시나요? 아니면 오히려 그게 동기부여가 되시나요?
뭐 딱히 동기부여는 이제 항상 우승을 하고 싶은데 그렇게 이 타이틀에 대한 욕심을 많이 갖고 하면은 잘 안 되더라고요. 제가 오기 전에 했던 대회도 우승할 수 있을 거라고 생각했는데 0대3으로 지기도 했고 결승에서. 근데 이번에 사실 목표는 조에서 4등 탈락을 안 하는 걸 목표로 왔는데 호크 선수한테 1경기 지니까 좀 화가 나더라고요. 그래서 지면은 후회할 것 같아가지고 좀 이악 물고 열심히 했습니다.
So you know, as a pro player, I always want to win, of course. And I think that the greedier you get, you kind of underperform as my last tournament. I really wanted to win, and then I ended up being 0-3. So coming to this tournament, I just didn't want to end up last of my group. And in this match I just played, when I lost the first map, I got a little bit mad. So I really wanted to play my best to win and to qualify for the next round.
You can be very happy now. And speaking of happy, that might be your opponent in the quarterfinal, or Foggy or Hitman. Who do you want to face next?
이제 8강에서 많은 선수들을 만날 수 있는데 혹시 만나시고 싶은 선수가 있나요?
사실 제가 조 1등으로 진출했다면 약간 누가 와도 이렇게 다 이겨주겠다, 난 1등이니까 이렇게 말하려고 했는데 걔 좀 힘들게 왔기 때문에 뭐 그냥 여기까지인 것 같긴 한데 최선을 다해서 한번 누굴 만나든 상대해 보겠습니다. 뭐 큰 차이는 없을 것 같아요.
So at first I wanted to finish first of my group so that I could say, I don't care, anybody's fine. But now I'm finished second of my group. I think myself, maybe it's the end for me, but I will still try to do my best in the next round.
Pretty sure you can. We throw you guys into a little break. We're only halfway through the day. We have Group D, and that is Happy, HawK, Cruncher, and So In. See you in a bit.